The rarest jewels of the world's wealthiest women, there are women who wore history on their necks. Women who walked into a room and silenced it, not with words, but with the fire blazing at their throats, their wrists, their ears. Rubies that once circled a Maharaja's waist. Diamonds that outlived empires. Necklaces Salvador Dali sketched in a fever dream that became real gold and sapphires. Tiaras that once rested on the brow of an empress of France. These are the actual jewels of 9 of the richest, most powerful women who ever lived. And some of those jewels have vanished into vaults, others were auctioned off to pay debts of $500 million, and one collection was seized by a government and locked in a central bank for decades. Every single story ends with a question: where is it now? Stay with us, because some of these answers will shock you. Betsy Bloomingdale. Born Betty Lee Newling in Beverly Hills, she married Alfred Bloomingdale, heir to the famed department store fortune, in 1946 and became one of the most influential socialites of post-war America. Her inner circle included the Reagans, the Paleys, the Forbeses, and European royalty. She was so close to Nancy Reagan that she was known inside Washington as the first friend. She had 11 closets. Betsy Bloomingdale did not simply buy jewellery, she curated it the way a museum curator selects masterpieces. Experts described her collection as quintessential iconic designs, immediately recognisable as by a particular maker. Among her most prized possessions was a Jean Schlumberger for Tiffany & Company diamond, citrine and ruby bird-on-a-rock brooch, one of Schlumberger's most celebrated designs, featuring a whimsical sculpted bird perched atop a faceted gemstone rock, rendered in 18-karat gold and platinum. The piece was a classic Schlumberger hallmark, nature-inspired, theatrical, impossible to mistake. She also collected signed pieces across the finest designers of her era, with pieces from Cartier and other legendary maisons completing what jeweller Russell Fogarty of Belladora called a veritable cross-section of the finest jewellery designers of the time. For Betsy, jewellery was the final punctuation on her legendary entertaining. Every piece was catalogued. She marked what occasion each jewel was worn to. Her collection was not fashion, it was autobiography. After her death in 2013, Christie's New York auctioned her collection across 2 events, in 2016 and 2017 as part of Betsy Bloomingdale: A Life in Style. The pieces sold to private collectors worldwide. Marella Agnelli. Born Donna Marella Caracciolo di Castagneto in Florence in 1927, from ancient Neapolitan aristocracy, she married Fiat chairman Gianni Agnelli and became one of the most photographed women of the 20th century. Richard Avedon called her one of the most beautiful women he ever photographed. Truman Capote named her one of his swans. She was a patron of the arts, a garden designer, and a woman of almost inhuman elegance. In 1955, Gianni Agnelli visited the Gem Palace in Jaipur, a centuries-old jewellers run by the Kasliwal family, and noticed strings of ruby and emerald beads that had once decorated the belt of the Maharaja of Jaipur. He had them restrung into a multi-strand necklace of 9 interwoven torsades of rubies, emeralds and pearls, accented with 22-karat gold balls set with diamonds and enamel. One version of the necklace contains 1,826 carats of rubies, 626 carats of emeralds, and 160 carats of pearls. Marella wore this necklace for the rest of her life, on vacation with Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, to Malcolm Forbes' 75th birthday party in Morocco in 1989, at a New Yorker event in 1994. She herself said it was the piece she loved most. In addition, she was known to have worn Vidura snake bracelets and Schlumberger earrings, though her deliberate restraint meant she was photographed in jewels rarely, which made each appearance all the more electric. Marella once described the necklace as inseparable from a memory, standing before the Orvieto Cathedral in a photograph by her friend Wanda Garonska, wearing what Gianni had found in India. It was love made into gemstones. The original necklace passed down privately. In 2019, after Marella's death, the Gem Palace discovered a sealed box of the remaining original beads and created 2 tribute necklaces called the Last Swan, each priced around $80,000. They were sold separately from the Jaipur and New York Gem Palace locations. Sau Schlumberger. São Schlumberger was the second wife of Pierre Schlumberger, heir to the great Schlumberger Oil Services fortune, one of the wealthiest families in the world. She lived between Portugal and France, moving through the upper echelons of European art, surrealism, and haute society. Shortly after her marriage to Pierre, São commissioned a jewel from an unexpected source, Salvador Dali. In 1954, the surrealist master conceived the design for what would become the Swirling Sea necklace, a fluid, dreamlike composition of sapphires, emeralds, pearls, and diamonds, set in 18-karat gold, evoking the motion of ocean waves and the shimmer of light across water. It was fabricated in 1963 by New York jeweler Carlos Alemany. The necklace is surrealism made wearable. There is no other piece quite like it in the history of haute joaillerie. The Swirling Sea was an expression of artistic devotion. São did not merely wear fine jewellery, she commissioned art. Dali was not decorating her, she was inhabiting his imagination. The necklace passed to São's stepdaughter Anne Schlumberger. It was auctioned at Sotheby's Geneva in 2014, where it sold for $665,000, more than quadruple its upper estimate. In 2025, it reappeared in the Sotheby's Schlumberger collection sale, estimated at $350,000 to $585,000, as part of an $85 million plus auction of the family's art and jewels. Lily Safra. Born in Brazil, Lily Safra became one of the great philanthropists of the late 20th century as the widow of Lebanese banker Edmund J. Safra, who died in a tragic arson at their Monaco penthouse in 1999. Lily channeled her grief into giving. She founded hospitals, research centres, and youth programs across 4 continents. She was also, quietly, one of the most discerning jewellery collectors alive. In 2012, Lily auctioned 70 pieces from her personal collection at Christie's Geneva, the Jewels for Hope sale, with all proceeds going to 20 charitable institutions. The sale raised $38 million, nearly double its estimate. The centerpiece was a 32.08-carat Burmese ruby and diamond ring by Chomé that sold for $6.7 million, setting a world auction record for a ruby at the time. There was also a 34.05-carat rectangular cut diamond ring, estimated at $3.6 to $4.6 million, and a 31.21-carat Burmese sapphire ring by Boucheron. But the most remarkable section of the sale was 18 pieces by Jar, Joel Arthur Rosenthal, the reclusive Paris-based jeweller who makes perhaps 20 pieces a year, by appointment only, and is considered the greatest living jeweller in the world. Lily's jar collection, created specifically for her between the 1980s and 2000s, was described as the largest private jar collection ever offered at auction. Among them, a camellia flowerhead brooch set with 173.09 carats of rubies in sterling and gold, estimated at $1.2 to $1.5 million. Lily wore these jewels for decades, then gave them away, all of them, for charity. She said she wanted the money to do more good than the stones could sitting on her fingers. Sold to private collectors at Christie's Geneva, May 14, 2012. All proceeds distributed to charities including the Edmund and Lily Safra Children's Hospital in Israel, the Henry Street Settlement in New York, and children's programs in Rwanda. Princess Gloria Thurn Taxis. She was a penniless countess, Countess Gloria von Schönberg-Glauchau, who married Prince Johannes of Thurn und Taxis in 1980 at the age of 20. He was 33 years her senior and one of the richest men in Europe, head of a dynasty that had run the postal service of the Holy Roman Empire for centuries. In the 1980s, she became Princess TNT, a punk-inflected socialite who paired platinum tiaras with wild hair, and Christian Lacroix couture, becoming a worldwide sensation. When Johannes died in 1990, leaving debts of over $500 million, she transformed overnight into a formidable businesswoman. The Thurn & Taxis jewels are among the greatest aristocratic collections in Europe. Princess Gloria wore the sapphire parure, a tiara, necklace, bow brooch and earrings in deep royal blue sapphires and diamonds, which dated to the 19th century and had been reworked by the renowned Kreuter Company of Hanau. She wore the complete set at a baptism ball in 1983 and continued to appear in it through her widowhood. Even more dramatically, she wore the ruby tiara and necklace, originally part of a parure first photographed on the Infanta Maria Anna of Portugal in 1929. to a performance of La Traviata at the Paris Opera House in 1985, paired with flamboyant couture and a hairdo that shocked Europe. She also once wore the Empress Eugenie's pearl and diamond tiara, a piece from the French crown jewels acquired by the family in 1890. Gloria wore the family's centuries-old jewels not with reverence but with defiance, pairing them with punk fashion as a statement that aristocracy need not be boring. After her husband's death, she sold a significant portion, 300 lots at Sotheby's Geneva in November 1992, to save the family fortune. Empress Eugenie's tiara alone sold for 935,000 Deutsche Marks, but she kept the sapphire and ruby parures. The retained pieces remain in the Thurn and Taxis family vault at Schloss St. Emmeram in Regensburg. The sold pieces are in private collections worldwide. ZSA Gabor. Born Sari Gabor in Budapest in 1917, she was crowned Miss Hungary in 1936 before becoming one of Hollywood's most flamboyant personalities. She married 9 times, graced every red carpet for 5 decades, and summarized her philosophy in one line: "I never hated a man enough to give him his diamonds back." Zaza was unapologetic about her obsession, wearing fine jewellery even in the bathtub. Her most famous real jewel was a Harry Winston diamond Riviere necklace, a continuous cascade of graduated round brilliant cut diamonds totaling 45 stones, with the 5 central diamonds alone weighing 8.07, 6.34, 6.33, 5.35, and 4.88 carats respectively. It was the quintessential old Hollywood piece. No coloured stones, no ornamentation, just diamonds in relentless succession. She was also devoted to a beloved gold chain-link necklace that spelled out "Darling" in pavé diamonds, a wink at her heavy Hungarian accent and her trademark greeting. A fan of Cartier, she wore rubies and sapphires on countless red carpet appearances over 5 decades. Diamonds were not luxury to Zaza, they were armour, personality and punchline. She understood that a woman who controls her own jewels controls her own story. After her death in December 2016 at age 99, her husband, Frederick Prince von Anhalt, auctioned her collection. In 2017, Bonham sold the Harry Winston Riviere necklace for $1.3 million. In 2018, Heritage Auctions offered 425 additional lots of her clothes, art and jewellery. Imelda Marcos. Born in 1929 into modest circumstances in the Philippines, Imelda Romualdez became First Lady when Ferdinand Marcos seized the presidency in 1965. Over 21 years of authoritarian rule, while the country sank into poverty, she built one of the most notorious personal collections of luxury goods in history. She's best known for her 3,000 pairs of shoes. But the shoes were only the beginning. The Marcos jewellery collection is divided into 3 seized caches: the Hawaii collection, 400 plus pieces taken by US Customs when the family fled in 1986, the Malacañang collection, 300 pieces found abandoned in the presidential palace, and the Rumeliots collection, 60 pieces caught being smuggled out weeks after the fall. Together, appraised by both Sotheby's and Christie's, they are estimated at $21 million. The centerpiece is a 25-carat pink diamond described as the size of a grape, valued at approximately $5 million. There is also a Cartier diamond tiara that was initially valued at $50,000 and later reappraised at 10 times that sum. The full collection includes extraordinary pieces from Bulgari, Van Cleef, and Arpels, Buccellati, and Harry Winston, along with white diamonds and gold tiaras, pink diamonds and gold bracelets, and an antique cabochon ruby and diamond tiara with Mabe pearls. Imelda called herself the Steel Butterfly, and her jewels were the display of power over a nation that could never question her. Each acquisition was a statement of impunity, largely still locked in the vaults of the Banco Central ng Pilipinas, the Philippine Central Bank. Legal battles over their status have continued for decades. The Malacañang collection was ruled forfeit to the Philippine government by the Supreme Court. The others remain contested. Ivana Trump. Born Ivana Marie Zelničková in Zlín, Czechoslovakia, in 1949, she was a ski racer and model who defected to the West via a brief first marriage, eventually making her way to Canada and then New York. She married Donald Trump in 1977, and became one of the most recognizable women in America through the 1980s boom years, serving as vice president of several Trump Organization properties. Her divorce in 1991 was front-page news worldwide. Ivana understood jewelry as power dressing at its most concentrated. During the height of the Trump years, she was photographed in extravagant diamond and gold pieces befitting her position as Queen of New York's social scene. Large stone diamond rings, gold-link necklaces, and multi-strand pearl pieces that became signatures of 1980s excess. After her divorce, she founded her own costume jewelry line, Ivana Inc. 1992, sold through the Home Shopping Network and QVC London, rhinestones, cabochons, and gold-tone metals that democratized her aesthetic. Among her personal fine jewelry, she favored oversized diamond solitaires and bold cocktail rings consistent with her era and her own theatrical style. Her pieces sold alongside her estate effects after her death in July 2022. For Ivana, jewelry was inseparable from reinvention. She wore diamonds when she was the queen of Trump Tower. She designed accessible sparkle when she rebuilt herself after the divorce. Both were armor for different battles. Her personal estate was divided among her 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric Trump. Athena Onassis. Born Athena Hélène Roussel in Paris on January 29, 1985, she's the only surviving grandchild of the legendary Greek shipping magnate Aristotle Onassis, and thus one of the wealthiest heirs in the world. Her mother was Christina Onassis, who died when Athena was 3 years old. Raised largely in Switzerland by her father Thierry Roussel, she inherited her grandfather's fortune at 18. She became a professional equestrian and largely withdrew from public life. The jewels were not Athena's in sentiment. They had belonged to her mother, Christina Onassis, who wore them to grand balls and dinners across Europe. When Athena decided to sell in 2008, Christie's European head of jewelry, Raymond Sancroft Baker, explained simply, "She's a young girl, and she just doesn't wear them." The collection auctioned at Christie's London included a pear-shaped 38-carat diamond of D, colourless purity, worn by Christina on a pendant necklace, estimated at £1.8 to £2.2 million. There was also a 15-carat heart-shaped diamond pendant, a Harry Winston sapphire and diamond necklace estimated at £120,000 to £150,000, a Van Cleef & Arpels ruby and diamond necklace, and a Graf vivid yellow pear-shaped diamond ring of 4.5 carats. The total collection of 230 rings, bracelets, necklaces and pearls was estimated at over £8 million. Christina Onassis once said she wore diamonds at breakfast because they look so pretty in the morning sun. Jewels for the Onassis family were the texture of daily life. Sold at Christie's London, June 11, 2008. The 38-carat pear diamond and other major pieces went to private collectors, 9 women, wearing and losing the rarest objects ever made. Some of those jewels are in museum vaults. Some are in the hands of anonymous collectors who will never show them to anyone. Some are locked in a Philippine central bank while governments and courts argue over whose they were to begin with. And some, like Lily Safra's rubies, were deliberately, consciously given away, sold for children's hospitals and brain research centres, their fire converted into something better than display. The question is never just what is the jewel worth, the question is what it cost and what it bought. And the rarest gem of all, it was never the stone. It was the woman powerful enough to wear it,